every day I would go to Starbucks and I would just buy someone a cup of coffee for $1.10. They would say thank you. And I would say, hey, do you rent or do you own your house? Not having fear, it serves you really well. And like not having to know everything serves you really well if you really want to take care of people. And I've always been a people person. Like I love to, I used to be a people pleaser. Now I'm a recovered people pleaser. I still like to please them, but it's for them, not for me. Like all of these things that served me really well early on in my career. But the big one was just not being afraid to ask someone like, hey, how can I help you? Like, do you rent or do you own? I can help both. Like I remember being in Starbucks every day. I would go to Starbucks and I would just buy someone a cup of coffee for $1.10. They would say thank you. And I would say, hey, do you rent or do you own your house? Like simple stuff like that, like really just asking people if I could serve them early on in my career. And so I jump started pretty quickly back then and, wasn't afraid to ask to serve others. Now, the downside of that, of course, was that when you have no idea what you're doing and you have poor mentorship, which I think it's so important and applicable today too, Tim, is like mentorship matters more than ever right now, like to plug into good people who will be positive mentors that know what they're talking about and want to see you succeed. I mean, that is critical right now. I didn't really have that in my first handful of years in the business. I was told everything was a write-off. I was 24. I thought that was great. So I spent all my money because it was a write-off. Like, who cares? Like, I'm not going to have to pay taxes. And I didn't know anything. Like I didn't grow up from a financially crushing it family, so to speak. And so I figured out how to get rid of the money I was making very, very fast early on in my career. I didn't really learn about savings, budgeting, and things like that. But my big aha early on was when I realized I was a liability to other people, right? When I realized that, like, if I don't know how to give great advice, if I don't know how these loan programs really work, and if I don't know what the intended and unintended consequences are based on decisions that people are making, financing 100, 200, 300, 500, $1 million, that's a problem. And I think that's very applicable to today as well, with a lot of people maybe making recommendations because they're desperate and want to get a loan closed and really feel like they need the income or they need the volume, and not giving great advice to people that maybe shouldn't buy right now, or that maybe should look at budgeting a little bit more. And so when I look back at early on in my career, I would say not being afraid really pushed me forward fast. I would say that wanting to help others really pushed me forward fast, which I still feel to this day. I haven't been more fired up ever in my career than I am right now. But like making sure you have great mentorship, the people that you pursue, right? And you have to pursue great people. The people that you pursue will make all the difference in what your intermediate and long-term outcome will be. Not your short-term income, not your short-term results, but your intermediate and long-term results and your outcome are always going to be determined by the type of people that you decided to pursue, that you decided to invest your time in, and they decided to invest their time in you, and learn how to do things the right way and be patient, right? Be patient with growing the business, with the activities. So yeah, if I look back, man, it was just like ignorance on fire back then. And I guess ignorance on fire is better than knowledge on ice. But when you can combine those two things, and it couldn't be an easier time from a knowledge standpoint between AI and like how easy it is to find information, get questions answered. I think that it's a great opportunity. It reminds me a lot of like first time in the business, though, the same type of feelings, same type of activities, asking more people if you can help them.